They say the weak man speaks the loudest. He argues before thinking, reacts before understanding, and defends before being attacked. He doesn't realize he's already caught, not by his opponent, but by his own mind. Socrates once said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." But what about the unexamined mind, the one that argues, compares, complains, and pretends to know? That's the battlefield most men never see. Not the world outside, but the noise inside. In today's world of endless opinions and outrage, strength isn't about muscle, it's about mastery. And the enemy? The mental traps that disguise weakness as wisdom. We fall into them every time we seek validation, overthink, or defend our image instead of the truth. They feel intelligent, they sound philosophical, but they quietly destroy clarity. This is where the Socratic method becomes more than philosophy. It becomes self-defense. It cuts through illusion, through pride, through ego. Because every argument you lose externally, you first lost internally, when you believed a lie about yourself. In this reflection, we'll expose 6 Socratic traps, mental patterns that keep you reactive, confused, and weak. You'll see how each trap hides behind reason, and how the Stoic mind breaks free through awareness and silence. So let's begin, not by debating others, but by questioning ourselves. Trap 1. The illusion of knowledge. Socrates called himself the wisest man in Athens, because he knew that he knew nothing. But most people today do the opposite. They think they know everything, yet understand nothing deeply. We gather quotes, opinions, podcasts, and call it wisdom. We've replaced truth with data, depth with noise. The opponent speaks, so what's wrong with being informed? Nothing. Until information becomes identity. Until you can't admit, I don't know. That's the first trap. The illusion of knowledge. It makes you defensive, it makes you fragile. Because when your knowledge is borrowed, every question feels like an attack. A Stoic doesn't collect facts, he tests them. He doesn't speak first, he listens. He doesn't build pride on opinions, but peace on understanding. And that understanding only comes when you dare to unlearn. Imagine this. In a debate, you realize your belief might be wrong. Do you fight harder or pause to examine? That pause is the line between arrogance and awareness. Freedom begins when you no longer need to appear wise, only to seek what is true. Trap 2. The need to be right. The second trap is subtler. It hides behind ego's favorite disguise, righteousness. We love being right. We crave that feeling of superiority when our logic wins and someone else submits. But that victory is hollow. Socrates didn't argue to win. He questioned to reveal, even if the truth embarrassed him, because he understood that winning an argument, but losing your inner peace, is no victory at all. The inner voice whispers, "But if I don't defend myself, won't I look weak?" No. True weakness is needing to look strong. The need to be right turns intelligence into insecurity. It makes you interrupt others, overtalk, prove, and posture. It turns calm conversation into emotional war. A Stoic warrior doesn't seek to dominate, he seeks to understand. He doesn't fight to protect his ego, but to sharpen his reason. And when he's wrong, he thanks the one who showed him. Because each time you admit a mistake, you destroy the illusion that you're flawless. And that's the kind of strength few men ever taste. Trap 3. The worship of emotion. Modern society preaches emotion as truth. Follow your feelings, they say. Trust your heart. But what if your heart is confused? What if emotion is just reaction, not reason? This is the third trap, the worship of emotion. Socrates saw it clearly. Emotion clouds reason. And when reason dies, the mind becomes a storm. We justify rage as passion, envy as ambition, fear as intuition. We call them virtues, but they're chains. The opponent challenges. But emotions make us human. Yes, but only when you own them, not when they own you. A Stoic doesn't kill emotion, he disciplines it. He lets anger rise, then watches it fade before acting. He listens to sadness, but doesn't drown in it. He feels, but doesn't follow blindly. The modern man who worships his emotion becomes a slave to mood. One insult, and his peace collapses. One delay, and he explodes. He doesn't live, he reacts. Control isn't coldness, it's clarity. And clarity is what separates a thinker from a reactor. Trap 4. The echo of validation. The fourth trap is invisible, the need for validation. You may think you're acting freely, but most choices you make are performances. Your opinion, posted to be liked. Your success, shown to be approved. Your anger, expressed to be validated. The opponent says, everyone seeks approval. What's wrong with that? Nothing until you can't breathe without it. Validation creates addiction. The more you get, the less you feel enough. You start shaping your truth to fit the crowd, editing your beliefs for applause. Socrates was hated, mocked, even executed for questioning the majority. Yet he never traded truth for comfort. He didn't speak to be liked, he spoke to awaken. Ask yourself, would you still live this way if no one ever noticed? That's the test of integrity. The moment you no longer need validation, your mind becomes unshakable. Trap 5, the argument with reality. This is the trap Marcus Aurelius warned against, arguing with what is. We resist what we can't control. We wish the world was different, people were better, outcomes were fairer, and when they're not, we suffer twice, once from the event, once from our resistance. The inner dialogue argues, so should we just accept everything? No, accept reality, not injustice. Accept the moment, not surrender your will. The Stoic doesn't fight the rain, he learns to walk in it. He doesn't curse the storm, he trains through it. That's not passivity, it's power. Because when you stop wasting energy resisting what already is, you gain strength to change what can be. Arguing with reality makes men bitter. Working with it makes them wise. Peace isn't found by controlling everything, it's found by controlling yourself within anything. Trap 6, the infinite debate. The last trap is the most seductive, the addiction to endless debate. We mistake thinking for progress, talking for action, and complexity for depth. We analyze, argue, philosophize, yet never live. We become trapped in words. Socrates used questions to move closer to truth, not to circle around it forever. But the modern thinker often debates only to appear intelligent. He wins likes, not lessons. The inner voice whispers, but questioning is good. Yes, until it becomes a cage. Overanalysis creates paralysis. The mind that debates endlessly fears silence, because silence demands being, and being requires courage. The Stoic doesn't debate every detail. He examines, concludes, and acts. He lives his philosophy instead of tweeting it. Because the purpose of wisdom isn't talk, it's transformation. Now that you've seen the 6 traps, here's how to escape them. 1. Question your certainty. Every time you feel absolutely right, pause and ask, what if I'm missing something? That single breath can save you from arrogance. 2. Detach from validation. Before you act or post, ask, would I do this if no one saw? If not, it's ego, not integrity. 3. Control your emotional tempo. Never answer in anger, never decide in haste. Let silence become your first response. 4. Return to action. Thinking means nothing without doing. Philosophy isn't escape, it's engagement with reality. These tactics aren't clever tricks, they're anchors. They remind you that discipline of mind is greater than dominance of others. You don't need to win arguments, you need to master your reactions. When someone provokes you, don't react, observe. Their aggression is a mirror of their chaos, not your worth. If you mirror them, you become them. The Stoic defense is calm detachment, not apathy, but awareness. You see manipulation, but don't absorb it. You see insults, but don't identify with them. Socrates once faced ridicule and threats, yet answered only with calm questions, because he understood when emotion rises, clarity falls, and the man who stays calm wins without fighting. Here's your rule. Never let another person decide your mental state. Their storm is not your weather. True strength isn't loud, it's the quiet refusal to lose yourself. These traps don't just appear in philosophy, they control modern life. At work, you argue for recognition instead of results. In relationships, you defend your image instead of your honesty. On social media, you debate shadows instead of mastering yourself. The Socratic method isn't ancient, it's timeless. It's a tool for mental clarity and chaos, for stillness and storms. It teaches that most battles are illusions, and the wise man doesn't chase every fight. Apply it daily. When criticized, listen before reacting. When emotional, question the thought beneath the feeling. When unsure, seek truth, not validation. Do this, and you'll find a strange kind of strength, not in winning debates, but in no longer needing to. The 6 traps are not out there. They're within. The illusion of knowledge, the need to be right, the worship of emotion, the echo of validation, the argument with reality, the infinite debate. Each one begins with the same error, believing that control means domination. But true control means surrender, not to weakness but to wisdom. It's realizing that truth needs no defense and calm needs no audience. Socrates lived and died for that truth. He showed that the greatest power is not in speech, but in silence. Not in convincing others, but in mastering oneself. So ask yourself, am I thinking clearly or just reacting cleverly? Am I living consciously or performing intelligence? Am I truly free or just mentally entertained? When you stop being trapped by the illusions of intellect and emotion, you awaken the rarest kind of power, self-command. And that's the foundation of every Stoic virtue: courage, temperance, wisdom, and justice. This week, don't try to win debates, win yourself. Catch each trap the moment it appears, the impulse to react, the urge to prove, the craving to be right. Pause, breathe, watch it pass. You'll feel something rare, peace that doesn't depend on others. That's your first taste of true Stoic freedom. What are your views on this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I will personally read all of your comments. And if you seriously want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Stay strong. Until next time.